the Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Governor of Lagos State on Education, His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So,
Yes, what I am.
Yes, ma'am. What comes to our mind is we want you to talk to us on being at the affairs of STEAM objectives of the state and your progress so far.
Our collective's objective, well, one of our objectives is to move from rote learning to having more practical work infused in students are actually carrying out activities, hands-on activities, and also tying their learning to things that are relevant in the real world. And then students to look around the opportunities and challenges around them and start seeing applications between what they're learning and what's happening out there. And for us, for them, the things that they're learning.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. So let's talk about progress so far. Since you've started this, how would you rate the progress in Lagos State as the reception of this goal that you're trying to achieve?
It's been positive. We have not rolled out in all areas of the state. We have started in District 1, our pilot phase in District 1. However, even before we started this, there have been other initiatives, projects that the state has done. There have been the students undertaking a robotic program that was last year, yes, before COVID hit. And they went to Hungary for the robotics competition, and they did very well. And then we've also had our students in the state compete on a national level and also win awards. So they've really done excellent work. Progressive about making sure that we start making that infusion of technology into learning. Last year, in spite of COVID, we still made sure that our students were online on radio and TV learning. And then we also gave out over 30,000 devices last year to our students in SS3, as well as we started also stepping down to the SSA, about to continue that objective of making sure that we pursue learning, not just in the four walls of the classroom, but utilizing that by giving them out more devices. We also gave out radios for the junior secondary schools for the students to be able to tune in to programming on the radio so that they can continue to follow this offline learning. And then we've been boosting capacity for the teachers, because that's really, really key, making sure that the teachers are able to utilize this technology to teach the students and also utilize it for themselves to make sure that they are also able to go online, get information, and then adapt it to the context that we're in here in Nigeria and utilize it for their students.
Thank you very much, ma'am. My last question, ma'am, before we release you, is to talk to us more about the past, the present, and the future of children's education in Nigeria. I mean, vis-a-vis the importance of STEAM education.
I was at a program yesterday and I was telling them about how I've been very fortunate with my studies, where I've been reading a lot about the history, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa, so across the continent, of science, education, and the reforms that have taken place. So yes, I can talk about this for a long time. I'm on a time, constrained with you, and of course, time constrained with my work. But I want to say that during the colonial, afterwards, immediately, the objective of science education was for the students to just at least, okay, let them learn another thing, let them understand what matter was and how to use it, and that was it. And then in the 70s and the 80s, they went beyond that. They said, you know what, why is the science education important? Why should they engage in it? What does it mean to them as students? How are they going to use it? And they started moving towards that, particularly in the 80s. They started moving towards that. They had this reform movement formed where they divided it from being just one subject, but actually into different, making sure that it was broken down into these areas where it became more relatable for the teachers and the students. And then it now moved into the 90s, where there was even more reform done, where they said, you know what, we want to start talking about skills. And And that's what has continued to cascade even to now, when we're hearing more about skills, particularly in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, where we started talking about science process skills. We started talking about how are they going to use this knowledge, they're going to apply this knowledge into the real world. So there have been all these reform movements and transgression as progression to where we are now, where we're now talking about, okay, you're learning this in school, but how does this relate to when you come out? How are you going to use it? We're talking about the past, where you went to school and you just got that general certificate, just got that general knowledge. And then when you came out, you started looking for, okay, how do I use this in getting a job? Can I use it to get a job? What kind of job can I get? How do I do that? Now we're going into specific skills that you get this skill, you're going to be able to use it specifically that task and do this and do that. And that's where the world is going now. It's looking more at skills. It's not looking at certificates anymore. I mean, we've all heard the news. It was all over the internet last year and a good part of this year. A lot of these high-tech companies in developed nations, Silicon Valley, example, in the US, they're no longer saying, bring us this certificate that you got from this college or this master's program. They are more looking at, okay, what specific skill did you get? What's your portfolio like? What kind of work did you do? So that's where the learning is coming to now. So in science education now, we are having to now start looking at that too, with these skills that the students are getting in the practical work that they're doing, and as well as the theoretical work, all that stuff that they're learning, which is what we call conceptual understanding of science, bring it into this application, and then have specific skills that they're able to take out of that and use for specific things. I was talking to, a group of various intellectuals that were brainstorming about innovation in education yesterday, actually, at the American Corner, right here in Lagos. We're talking about this, about what are the students learning specifically, particularly in secondary school, that when they come out, they can say, okay, I can do this, I can do that. And one of the areas that we even started talking about was, like it or not, this is something that is so key, particularly now in this age where everybody, I mean, look at what you're doing, you're broadcasting online right now. So imagine if you're fantastic to use numbers and facts and make fantastic jazz-worthy presentations on PowerPoint, everybody will want to be with you. They want to work with you because that's a highly sought after. You could utilize in not just one industry, you can use it across the field. Yes, we're talking, so we're saying, you know what, these are things that we should start talking about working with the students specifically while they're in school doing. And that's where I see it's going to continue in the past. And sorry, in the future. Future is this way, past is that way. And I remember another thing that I had read, I wish I could remember what I read when I was putting together an essay, or what do we call it? A paper, there you go, for my doctoral research, was micro-credential in the US, in Europe, in Australia, even in Canada. It's really, really big. Micro-credentials, where before you will take a year or 2 years to get this diploma or get this credential, as you may speak. Now you can do it in 1 week. I mean, you see it all the time on Coursera. Now. What's the other one? Udemy. You see it online now. Even the big schools, they're offering it now. I signed up for one with MIT, where I think I had a 3 weeks course. I had another one that was 5 weeks. There you go. And those credentials are called micro credentials because they take less time for you to get. I mean, if you go to people's LinkedIn now, that's all you see populates on their LinkedIn pages. You go to people, because LinkedIn, I tell people that LinkedIn now is as far as I'm concerned, that's your mobile resume, is resume or CV. Here's my CV, look at my CV. Nobody looks at that anymore. LinkedIn is your CV now. And on LinkedIn, notice majority of the people now have this from all these different programs, from all these different schools. And it's actually what makes people look at you favorably. They go and look, okay, you've been in these programs, okay, you've done this, you've done that. And when they ask you questions a lot about those specific skills, okay, you did this, what did you gain, how can that translate to what you're going to come and do for us in this position?
What would be advice?
To who?
To other states. Other states.
To other states in Nigeria. Oh, of course. I would tell them, get on board. The whole world is riding this wave. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, the train already left the train station a while. Try and see how you can leapfrog and get on board and start seeing what you can do. Start seeing how you can stop having rote memorization for them, rote learning. Start seeing how you can focusing on skills. Start working with your teachers, because remember, teachers are the front runners of learning for the students. And start thinking about more infusion of tech in learning. Because whether we like it or not, tech is a tool that the whole world has embraced. And I mean the whole world. If there was ever a doubt before, COVID-19 last year completely stripped everyone. And I mean everyone. I don't care what nation it was. In one way or the other, tech came to play in terms of learning, in terms of delivering various outcomes for students.
All right, man. Thank you very much, Dr. Adetola Salau. It's been a wonderful time with you this afternoon. We just want to say thank you for your time because we know you run a very tight schedule and you make out time to be with us this afternoon. On behalf of the entire crew, a very big thank you to you, man. Do have a wonderful afternoon and we'll talk to you soon. We believe very, very soon. Thank you very much, man. Bye for now. Bye.